Hello agents, welcome back to the channel. So I'm sharing one of my best and favourite builds, what I've made recently, with yous, and it's with the blue screen, with all the status effects and stuff. I've got some gameplay with legendary mission and some heroic missions, and this is actually a really good build for group play. I don't do many group play builds because I'm usually playing solo all the time. And I thought I'd share this build with you because I actually think it's really good. And I've only seen people use this gun on ongoing directive builds, which you can like use different gear sets and stuff with it. So I started messing around with a gun, and I actually found a really good gear set to run it with. So I'll show you the build now. And if you like my content, guys, and you want more Division content in the future, or just Ubisoft or RPGs or anything, like and subscribe, and let's get straight into this build video. Right, so the weapon we're using is the exotic blue screen LMG. Just keep in mind that I have 24% weapon damage expertise on it because I've basically maxed it out to my expertise. So on the gun, you'll have 15% LMG damage, 12% damage to targets that will cover, 6% damage to armor. So we have disruptor rounds. Shooting an enemy marks that enemy and adds a stack to the agent up to a count of 50. Shooting a marked enemy refreshes the mark and adds stacks to the agent. When you deploy a non-shield skill, which we're using the Revive Hive and the Decoy, remove all stacks on agent or marked targets to trigger an effect, which 1 to 10 you pulse them, 11 to 25 you pulse them and disrupt them, like EMP disrupt, 26 to 49 stacks you pulse, disrupt and disorient, and disorient is the best effect on it in my opinion, because they like fall over basically, like kind of, and you have a few seconds to get all your damage in. So 50 stacks pulse, disrupt and disorient marked targets and all hostiles within 10 meters of the marked targets for 5 seconds. This effect will trigger immediately if any marked enemy is killed. So let's say you've got 50 stacks and one of your teammates actually kills the enemy with a mark on its head. That will trigger it as well. It's not just you that can trigger it. So yeah, I think this gun is actually really good. I do recommend farming this gun if you can. So secondary, I've got a Vector, just a close quarter gun. So we've got 15% SMG damage, 21% critical hit chance, and 10% damage targets that will cover. And the talent I'm using is Unwavering. Swapping to this weapon grants 300% weapon handling for 5 seconds. Kills refresh the buff. Swapping away disables this from all weapons for 5 seconds. So you can replace that talent if you want with something else, but you won't really use it because the reload speed on the blue screen is absolutely ridiculous. It's 2 seconds, which is mad for an LMG. Sidearm is just the orbit. It always gives you a load of damage, so you get 15% pistol damage, 10% damage targets out of cover. And perfect finisher, swapping from this weapon within 10 seconds of killing an enemy grants 35% critical hit chance and 40% critical hit damage for 15 seconds. So the gear set I decided to mess around with is actually Negotiator's Dilemma, and this is actually a really good way to run with the blue screen. Surprisingly, I was surprised about it. So if you use 2 pieces, you get 15% critical hit chance. If you use 3 pieces, you get 20% critical hit damage, and 4 pieces hostile negotiations. Critical hits mark enemies for 20 seconds, up to 3 marks total. When you critically hit a marked enemy, all other marked enemies take 60% of the damage dealt. This is actually really good on legendary difficulty. So whenever a marked enemy dies, gain 2% critical hit damage, stacking up to 20 times, or until combat ends. So 40% extra critical hit damage, which is nice. We have core attribute is 15% weapon damage, attribute is 12% critical hit damage, and the mod on the mask is 6% critical hit chance. So our second piece is the holster, which is 15% weapon damage and critical hit damage again. Third piece of negotiators is the knee pads, weapon damage and critical hit damage again. And this is the backpack we're using of negotiators. Reason we're using the backpack is because increases hostile negotiations damage to additional marked enemies from 60% to 112%, which is a hell of a lot of a difference in damage. You can change this if you want to, but I always run the backpack with any negotiated build that I use. So the core attribute is 15% weapon damage, 6% critical hit chance, and 6% critical hit chance mod. chest piece I've decided to go with was a Grupo Sombra because it gives you 13% critical hit damage when you use one piece of it. Core attribute is 15% weapon damage, 6% critical hit chance attribute, 12% critical hit damage attribute as well, and the mod on the chest piece is 6% critical hit chance. And because we have really high crit chance, we've got Obliterate, critical hits increase total weapon damage by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 20 times. The gloves are the Exodus gloves we're using. You can farm these in the open world or countdown or summit, either one if you don't have them. 15% weapon damage, 6% critical hit chance and 12% critical hit damage. I am actually surprised on how good these actually are. So the talent on it is Smokescreen. On armor break, drop a smoke bomb at your feet, concealing you from enemies for 3 seconds, cooldown 40 seconds, which is pretty good. So you've got that 3 seconds to mark enemies with your negotiators and just drill them, like just shoot them and get the damage. First skill is the Reviver Hive. This is actually an easy way to proc the blue screen. So if you get stacks 1 to 50, you'll put stats effects. So if you drop your hive, you'll do a load of stats effects to the enemies, or you can just shoot them and spread the stats effects. Second skill I'm using is the Decoy. This is just good in general. I use it for legendary, so you don't get spammed with grenades. You'll see it in the gameplay. So we're not even tier 1 because we don't have any skill tiers on this build, but you want the Decoy, and remember this actually procs the blue screen talent as well. This is the whole build. We have the blue screen, which gives us a load of stats effects and stuff, so crowd control basically. We have a Vector Unwavering as a secondary, and we have the Orbit Pistol for our sidearm. We have 4-piece negotiators with all crit damage, and some of the mods are crit chance. So we have max crit chance on the blue screen because the attachments on the blue screen are not crit chance, they're all like weapon handling and stuff. I don't know why they've done that, they should just put crit chance and crit damage. But yeah, we have 4-piece negotiators, we have the backpack which gives us a lot more damage. We have Grupo for crit damage, and we have Obliterate, and we have the Exodus gloves, which are nice. They actually give your armor back and stuff every 40 seconds, and drop a smoke bomb. So you get concealed so they can't see you, the enemies. So stats, we have max crit chance and 138% critical hit damage. So if you actually kill 10, I believe it's 10 enemies, you get 20% crit damage, so you'll be at 158% critical hit damage, which is a hell of a lot of damage. So specialization we're using is Gunner. We're using Gunner for the 15% LMG damage down here, 15% SMG damage and pistol damage. We also have 10% armor on kill, which remember, if you've marked say 3 enemies with your negotiators and you kill 1, and they're all like reds, for example, red hostiles, red enemies, you'll kill all 3 of them at the same time, so you'll get 30% armor on kill. So this is actually a pretty good, this using Gunner. You get ammo back every 60 seconds, and your rate of fire actually increases every kill for 5 seconds, so 5% on kill for 5 seconds. So that's the specialization we're using, and that is the build that I've been using in the last like week or 2. I've always used the blue screen in like PvP back in the past when I played PvP. But yeah, let me know in the comments what kind of blue screen build you run in PvE, or just groups or legendaries or anything. Let me know in the comments. So hope this helps, and you have fun. Yeah, thanks for watching, agents, and happy hunting.